All right. Hey, Patrice, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Oh, good. Thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
I love the title of your book. I got a real kick out of that. Uh, it's called A Fat Girl's Confidence Guide. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm fat, so what?
I'm fat, so what? Okay. You
Yeah.
know, you know what? I can definitely relate to that because I am also overweight. You'll probably see when you watch the show. But the older I get, I just don't care anymore. I mean, I care, but I don't. You know what I mean? I just.
Yeah, it's not like something that you're obsessed with when you wake up every day and just think about, how I'm going to shed the pounds and how am I going to, look a certain way. And that was the whole purpose of the book, A Fat Girl's Confidence. I'm fat, so what? Each day is somebody out there that's in competition or looking at other people and comparing themselves to them. So that was one of the motivations.
I think with the advent of social media, it's become even worse
Yes.
because you get it sort of every day in your face all the time.
And you start comparing yourself to other people and wishing and hoping that you look like something else. But in reality, I just simply said to myself when I seen the other people, I'm just going to love who I am. And if I want to lose weight, I'm going to lose the weight. And if I don't, then, this is just something that I'm going to live with.
Have you tried dieting before? Because I've tried several times. I've lost the weight, put it back on, lost. I've done the yo-yo thing.
Yeah. So with that, when I first wrote the book, I was about 280. Now I have actually transitioned and lost some weight, but it wasn't because somebody else told me. I just simply tried something different, like my eating habits, and started to exercise more. So, yeah, I've tried some of everything.
The hardest part for me to lose weight, it just was eating the stuff that you're supposed to eat and not eat the stuff that you're not supposed to eat. I would eat vegetables and I would eat some meat and I wouldn't eat bread and I wouldn't eat sugar. And then by the end of the day, I was like so miserable. I just couldn't. I said, you know what, forget it. And I'd go grab a candy bar and I'd eat that. And then, I just spiraled down from there.
Pretty much forget I'm on a diet. I'm trying to do something different. I was the same way too. I think what works for me is the portions. uh drinking more water now, cutting out the bread. That's what works for me, but it's different for different people. Some people are doing the whole keto thing, but that might not work for everybody. I think it's just up to you, and maybe seeing like a dietitian or going to somebody that has different options. There's other weight loss options out there. So, if that's something that you want to do, I say, compare and contrast the different options.
What sort of exercise do you do or did you do?
Steps, because I'm heavy at the bottom. So the steps pretty much worked out for me more so than anything. Lifting. Wow, when I do that, I see a tremendous change in my muscles and my strength, and it gives me endurance. And riding a bike, even if it's inside or if it's the real bike, I say, or even if it's like your indoor exercise bike, those things pretty much help me. And I'm not like a exercise expert, but I was just comparing and contrasting because a lot of things that people were saying it didn't work for me. And that was, one of the reasons why I was like, well, you know what, I'm fat, so what? Whatever happens is whatever happens. If I lose this weight, I'm going to lose this weight. I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself. Then, I thought about some of the trainers and stuff. And then when I Google some of the trainers, I seen like how they're talking to you. I was like, I don't think I want nobody talking to me like that about losing this weight. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it on my own. So,
I think that's the only way you can do it because you
yeah,
have to motivate yourself. Nobody else is going to do it for you. I really don't
right.
believe that. And particularly, like you said, with trainers, some of them can get, come on now, eat one more, two more,
Yeah,
five more, and they just push you to the point
demanding.
point where you say, forget it, I'm going home. The only way you do it is you look in the mirror one day and you say, you know what? I'm getting rid of that belly, or I'm getting rid of those legs, or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk a little bit about your book. So the book isn't really like a weight loss type book, right?
Here's a picture of it. It's pretty much like a guide. It's like a 7 week, well, not a 7 week, it's like a weekly guide for women, some men too. You could be inspired if you're a man, but I usually write for women because I like to write from experience. But it's a guide that pretty much helps you boost your self esteem and confidence. I go through some different activities and suggestions and give like insight about number one, just learning to love you, and number two, if you choose to lose weight on your own. Don't do it because you've seen other men or women out here looking a certain way and you started to compare and contrast yourself and say, oh, I'm going to do it. Just start by accepting who you are. And if you lose the weight, lose it. And, if you have some health issues that require you to lose weight, then do it. So a lot of times when people do look at the title, a fat girl's confidence, I'm fat. So what they are already making assumptions that I'm saying, don't lose weight or don't get healthier or don't do this or don't do that. I just wanted people to accept who they are. And then once you accept who you are, just move forward from there. So it's like a guide that gives you different activities and motivation. And we have like a pledge at the very end where you're going to pledge something to yourself.
One thing you brought up that I want to bring up again is the health issues. Certainly, there can be health issues with being overweight, which is a
Right.
consideration. But some people, like for example, for me, I'm probably 40 to 50 pounds overweight,
Hmm.
and my blood pressure's fine, my blood sugar's fine, my
Hmm.
cholesterol's fine, and I get them checked regularly at the doctor. So,
Me too.
the only thing I think of is, well, if the only problem I got is just being fat, then
Then
I'm,
so
I'm not
what?
so worried about it. Yeah. But if I had like all those issues, if I had diabetes, if I had, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
then there would be more motivation, I suppose, to lose the weight rather than
Yeah.
just aesthetics and
And
cosmetic.
that's
And
exactly and that's
yeah,
exactly what I meant. And I pretty much explained that in the book. If you have those issues that are relatable to obesity or being overweight, the diabetes and hypertension and different things, even anger issues, if all those things relate to you having bad health and if losing weight is going to help, I suggest do that. I give my insight and tips on that in the book. So, I just wanted to state that I do get a lot of feedback, about, well, how are you going to motivate somebody to just stay fat? That's not what I'm saying. That's not what this book is about. This book is just simply saying, love you first. And if I choose to make a change, I'm going to make the change. I don't need anybody else to push me to do what it is that I'm capable of deciding on my own. So, yeah.
I'm glad you clarified that on the title because it does give people, if they just look at the book on the shelf and see the title, they're going to think that it's, I'm fat, so what? Don't bother losing weight. It doesn't matter. But what you're saying is that do it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think that's
And
very
celebrate.
important.
Celebrate who you are. Self love.
Yeah.
Self love, celebrate who you are, start building up on your self esteem and confidence. Because guess what? In order for to make a change, you have to start believing in who you are first. I don't feel like, I know with me on a day to day basis, when it was time to get up and exercise, I look at some of the machinery and be like, you know what? I'm not getting up on that today. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm always putting it off. But, as I sort of kind of began to look at myself and say, well, you have to, that's when I wanted to make a change. Once I could build myself up and what I would do is start with baby steps. Well, let me just get on the bike for about 5, 10 minutes, and if I can go longer, about maybe 15 minutes, I'll do that. So a lot of things start with baby steps and it just starts with that one push. And I'm going to say it has to start with you first.
Exactly right. Did you find that when you were dieting that you would get really angry, like have a really short temper with people if you were trying
Yeah.
to, yeah.
I think with some of the weight loss products, that I was trying to, they were making me have like mood swings and be angry. So, I went through a couple different things. So yeah, I would get really, really angry, get frustrated. It just depends on what it was that I was taking.
God, I can remember I was doing the Atkins diet, which is a really hard one, the no carbs or low carbs. And somebody would come up to me and say something, and I'd just bite their head off. And finally, I had to go and like get a candy bar.
You know what? I think one of my issues, it might have been the sugar for you. I think one of my issues would have been not the candy bar. I love Reese's, but bread was more so of my issue. Like I wanted to have bread with everything, or the rolls and the biscuits. Those were mainly mine, like
Oh,
the carbs,
yeah.
Chocolate I could sort of kind of move away from, but bread was something different for me. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I like the bread too and the biscuits and all that. But the candy bar was just immediate. Do you know what I mean? It worked faster. You could grab anything, Three Musketeers, Hershey's, whatever, eat it, and then I felt better in about 30 seconds. So now I just try to eat less now. I eat what I want. If I want bread, I'm having bread. If it's mashed potatoes, biscuits, pasta, whatever. But I just try not to eat so much of it. A
Right.
smaller
Portion.
bowl, the portions, right?
And that's what I was saying. That's what has helped me start to shed some of those pounds, not overeating. I realized that, some of the amounts of foods and things that I was eating, it was a little bit too much. My body really can't hold that much. And here I am forcing myself to eat this stuff. But, I think that was probably like learned behavior from when I was a child. They would tell us, make sure you eat everything that's on your plate, eat all your food. And,
Oh, yeah.
I think I would do it. And we're not taking into considerations, not everybody's bodies can hold the same amount of food, and they're not going to, digest the same way as everybody else. So a lot of that stuff, when it comes to us being overweight or obese, it comes from learned behavior. So we have to unlearn a whole lot of different things from childhood.
Do you think any of it is genetic? Like, is there a fat gene, do you think?
I believe so because I do have, bigger people in my family too. So genetics does have a lot to do with it. I know my son, he's going through some weight challenges, like struggling right now. He's 12, about to be 13. So, me and his dad, we're sort of kind of on the larger side. And I see him at this age where he's starting to go through some transitioning and, it's time for him to work out. But with quarantine, it's made it sort of kind of hard.
Yeah.
Um, children are gaining weight. And so just imagine you getting on the internet and you seeing other people and you're going to start to compare and contrast yourself to them. Media is something. It really is.
Well, your son is how old? You said 12?
He's going to be 13 in April.
See, that's a tough
And
age, anyways, because he's going to go through puberty and he's going to have all kinds of changes in his body to begin with.
right.
And then if you have weight issues on top of that, it could be tough. But
hmm And that's what I was saying. When it comes down to bullying, when you get on social media, you see all these different people and their looks, and you start wondering, what's wrong with me? Let me make some changes. That's when it's time for to start loving on you and accepting who you are. And if you want to make some changes, do it.
Patrice, we got to wrap this up. Do you have a website that you want to give out that people can check out your book? And
It's patriceshavone.com. The books are on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Smashwords, Audible. I'm on Instagram as Patrice_Shavone, and on Facebook, Patrice Shavone Brown.
okay, so the main website again was patriceshavone.com.
Yep.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for coming on the show. This was fun. Nice meeting you. And
Thank you for